Sorry, it wasn't a bigger screen.
Oh, that's fine. This is live right now. I hope. Mhm. Yep. It's going to be bigger too, actually. Can you go and see if it's actually getting my Oops.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we need to make sure this is live stream. I like my phone like that. So keep me ready. Well,
So how do I do that? It's unlocked. Do I have it? YouTube TV app, maybe.
Do you want me to stand up there?
Awesome. First, it's live. And we got $50 just in time. Yeah.
Oh, good.
We may have sang.
It's today, I think. I don't know. 51. Is that what that is?
So it's going. It's using my phone through the computer.
Yeah. Here's your battery charger.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah. Check that.
Yeah.
It's secret. Just trying to get information.
It's weird. Yep. This is good. It's always good. I like the space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's space. It's just kind of, it's way better than just a full.
my meeting. This is my site. So I just want to welcome you all here and say how happy we are that we could provide this space for you tonight. We do have the restrooms open in the main building. There is a full moon, so God is providing some light, but please use your cell phone flashlight to get there. There are not a lot of other lights along the way, but we're happy to get you there safely and back if you need the facilities during the time. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm turning it over to Tim.
Thank you. My name is Tim Mertz, resident on Lighthouse Road. This is an information meeting that the residents have been discussing and wanting to get to know what's happening to the Piney Point Terminal property, the new owner's OAG. So this becomes an evening that's an informational exchange so that we get to hear what OAG is going to do and then ask questions. The intent is to run this for about an hour. And then at the end of the OAG formal presentation, there'll be Q&A. And then after the hour has elapsed, there'll be an opportunity. I understand that the OAG folks will linger and answer some questions one-on-one. First, a thank you to Karen, Ken, and the entire team here at the Lighthouse. Thanks for your patience. I'm going to introduce Eric Colvin, who is our County Commissioner for District 1, and Eric will make some introductions.
Very good, thank you. So, thank you. Don't clap yet. No, no, thank you all. Thank you for everyone who helped set up this meeting, and thank you all for being here for two reasons. One, it's good that you care about your community, and two, it's good that you're here because that shows that you're still open-minded. You're not sitting at home forming opinions without getting more information, because a lot of people do that, and it's a little frustrating at times. So I appreciate you all being here with an open mind. I've had the chance to meet with OAG already, and anytime a new business comes in, you know, you wonder what kind of a neighbor are they going to be? Are they going to be a good neighbor? And I think what you're going to hear from them is that they already have a proven track record as a good neighbor, and that really speaks volumes. You don't always get that. This is a site that's been vacant for a while, and there was a lot of concern about what could show up there and things that are out of our control that could have shown up there. And I'm really hopeful about the plan that they have going forward. So I don't want to take up any more time, but I'm just glad that you all are here, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Robert Hicks for a great presentation. I hope.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Hicks. I'm the CEO and founder of OAG Offshore Aviation Group. Before I get started, I wanted to recognize a few folks from OAG who are here with us. Joe Fishinger is our CFO and general counsel. Paul Tees, who is running the live stream meeting for us, is our director of unmanned aviation as well manned aviation for the company. So thank you guys for being here and helping us. Thank you to the museum for setting this up. This is an amazing venue, and I'm going to try not to be distracted by the ships because that's incredible. This is my second time in the building. I'm glad it's not my first, because I would be completely awestruck and just staring at them all instead of talking. But we did put together some slides for you, and our goal here is to meet you, give you a sense of who we are, how we would like to be a good neighbor, and answer questions that you have. So please do take advantage of the opportunity to mingle with us after the meeting is over. We're going to try to keep it to a strict schedule so that we're not running over an hour. We have 18 slides. I will not try to dwell on them too long, but I do want to be mindful that you have concerns and you may have questions. So please don't leave here today without asking the questions that you have. Don't take it back home with you wishing that, doggone it, I wish I had that opportunity. That's why we're here. We want to be as open and transparent and listen to you more than being up here telling you what we want to do. We want to hear from you and get to know you as well.
Hey, and Robert, just to add to that, as he said, we'll do the slides will answer a bunch of questions that we've already heard, but then we'll mingle a little bit. If you don't want to ask a question out in front of everyone, you'll be able to ask a question to one of us directly. So
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. But thank you, Joe. So we'll get into the slides here first and foremost, talk a little bit about offshore aviation and our vision for the site that we've acquired, which is essentially in your backyard. Executive summary, we have a longtime local veteran-owned business that is based in Piney Point, Maryland. Some of you may know us. We have a long-standing and fantastic relationship with the Paul Hall Center, Seafarers International Union. I see Pat back there. Thank you for being here, Pat. The Seafarers International Union is the reason why you have these amazing vessels here, if I'm not mistaken. It's they're on loan from that group. Fantastic community organization, and they've been so helpful for us when we started in business, and that's the reason why we're in Piney Point with our company. We just acquired the 320-acre Piney Point terminal site, which is why we're all here. The site includes a World War II era runway, hangars, and deep water access at the end of your neighborhood street here. The project is the acquisition project is fairly new. We just bought it, so please forgive us if we don't have our plan 100% yet. We're just in the early phases of that. We'll talk about what our vision is. We'll talk about what that early phase looks like. But the project will modernize the infrastructure as well as comply with FAA, MAA requirements, and hopefully establish Piney Point as an integrated hub for unmanned systems in the Maryland, St. Mary's County area, keeping us on the map for the new and emerging technology. The site has the potential of being unique in the entire world, and we want to promote that it is a site that can advance not only the air technology, but the ground technology and the sea technology as well into the next century, I hope. We expect the short-term impact to the area to be about 90 high-paying jobs and about 9 million in payroll annually. So it's going to be an economic engine again, which it was for many, many years. But as you know, it's been dormant. So that's essentially what we have as our summary. Next slide, please. So our vision and objective is to create the research and technology-based hub that augments the research and development sector that is at 2 Whiskey 6, St. Mary's County Airport. With the land, air, sea, subsea systems development, we will strengthen our ties with NAS Pax River and the community at large. The various corporations that invested in the area, the universities that have invested in the area, the local high schools that are invested in new technology and STEM programs, they all have a common need, and that is a place where they can operate their systems that are in test and development safely. And ultimately, that's what we envision the site, the 320-acre site, could be. So our plan is to reopen Piney Point as a specialized limited private use aviation facility to modernize the infrastructure to meet the FAA and Maryland Aviation Administration standards, and work with our industry partners, the University of Maryland, as well as trade schools and other industry partners who may even be our competitors. We're open to the idea of turning this into a center of innovation so we can exchange ideas, exchange technology concepts, and make this a vibrant site for innovation, essentially on that and the in the unmanned sector. We also have, I have personal interest in history. I love the history of this area. We have a goal. It's kind of my passion project to pay homage to the World War II torpedo testing heritage that went on at the site. And if you get me started on that subject, I'll be talking a lot about World War II aviation because it's one of my passions. But it's something that I find I find fascinating. It's something that is real and historically significant. The contribution of Piney Point to the aerial torpedo as well as the surface torpedo development during World War II is a fascinating subchapter of that conflict. But as a commercial venture, it's really our goal to create a long-term economic site where the workforce benefits are sustained, the entire campus gets beautified and maintained throughout its life cycle, and that we, as a company, are open to bringing in other partners that share those same goals. And also, as I started out, be a good neighbor with you and make sure that everyone that is working in association with us at this private use facility follows our regulations, our guidelines that we know will be cohesive with the life in the area, the way it has been, and the way that we hope to continue it being. So the remediation is the first step. This is what we know the most about. And it's exciting because this is a critical area site plan from the acquisition of a site from us. As OAG, we are actually working with another group, the Enviro Analytics Group / CDC is now in the process of submitting the permits to do the environmental remediation, removal of the tanks, the pipeline, the stanchions, out to the end of the terminal pier, and all of the tanks that are essentially on that 300-acre parcel, save one or two that some of the local base and St. Mary's County have put in our ear that we don't know exactly what we might do with these things in the future, but if you tear them all down, we won't have an opportunity to explore what you do with a tank like that. So ultimately, everything that is being done, though, in this phase one is, and I foot stomp this, not Offshore Aviation Group's area of responsibility. We are the owner. They're doing the remediation. They're pulling all the permits. So you understand that there are two separate organizations. So I'm not going to be able to answer all of your questions, which are good questions about the environmental piece. Happy to make introductions, happy to tell you what I know about it because it's important to us all. But keep that in mind that we as a group are here on the aviation support side, and that our partner firm that we have an NDA with is doing all of that remediation work in accordance with EPA, county, state, all of the regulations that are required. So I think I covered everything on this slide. Next slide.
Acquisitions.
Oh, I skipped over one. Sorry.
We skipped one?
The
It's
acquisition.
right there.
Okay, so the acquisition was done, as I mentioned, in September 2025. We purchased the site itself. We purchased it from the Commercial Development Company, CDC, an affiliate of Piney Point LLC. And as one of the conditions of the sale, CDC's affiliate, who is in the business of doing the environmental remediation, Enviro Analytics Group, EAG, remains responsible for the regulatory cleanup and removal of the legacy oil assets to deliver a development-ready site. This is something that the state of Maryland required as a part of the sale. And that's really who's who on the acquisition side. Next. As far as the airspace and our experience, you may not realize it because I think when our press release came out, there were several comments about how we were coming into the area and we didn't want to seem invasive or like invaders. We've been working in Piney Point for about 10 years, flying UAV systems. So a lot of the concerns that we're going to address today and the questions that we have about our operation is a continuing operation that's essentially moving about a half mile. So if to date you haven't seen an OAG aircraft flying around, I'd be surprised. To date, we have flown hundreds of sorties, zero mishaps, zero complaints, really. So we want to continue that track record. And there are ways that we do that. It's not special, but I will tell you a little bit more about those. And I'm sure you have questions about the operations piece. But right now, we build Group 1, 2, and 3 UAS systems. And what are those? Those are small scale drones from the very smallest quadcopters up to 55 pounds. And I think the largest aircraft that we fly under a waiver is 120 pounds. So we're building military grade drones, but these aren't necessarily aircraft that you would see on the battlefield. These are used for test and evaluation. These are used for training. They're probably more in keeping with the size and scope of aircraft that you would see or you would equate to being remote control modeler type aircraft. Wingspans can get out there 12, 13 feet. So, but it's a scale version of what you would consider to be a military grade drone. In conjunction with NAS Pax River in the Special Use Airspace Complex R4006 and 8 under an LOA MOA for 8 years, and ultimately that has all been done across the for years and years. The airspace that we have worked out with the Navy actually has included the airspace above Piney Point Beach. So we've essentially worked in the acquisition of this, worked with the Navy on augmenting our centroid point for our ring slightly by about 1/4 of a mile. But it's really not that we're a brand new company coming in to Piney Point to make your lives miserable. We've actually been here for 8 more years flying UAVs. And we hope to continue to be as good a neighbor as we've been in the last 8 years with you guys moving forward as we occupy the site that's in your backyard. OAG has coordinated with NAS Pax ATC, modifying this long-standing agreement. It has been kind of the first stage of ours to let them know that we've acquired the site, that our plan is to develop it, and everyone thus far has been extremely supportive, probably because we have such a good track record, and we have been a good neighbor. We haven't been a thorn in anyone's side, and that's how we do it. So to maintain our good standing with the community, we designate areas which we consider to be noise sensitive. We don't overfly houses. We tend to divide our operational boxes into areas where there's the lowest impact possible. And we do that because we know we don't want to aggravate the people that are living around the community. We want everybody to be on board and not concerned. I know there are a lot of concerns, and I think that they're valid. As we go in here, we'll talk a little bit more about our systems, and we can answer questions about them a little bit later. Next slide. So we do manufacturing and tests. We are an American-made company. We're gradually increasing our capabilities to do fabrication, 3D printing, carbon fiber layouts. We're building molds. We have been working with the academic industry and as partners working with multiple universities. The University of Maryland is one. We get inundated with calls now that this has gone out as a press release from Georgia Tech, from Virginia Tech. Everyone sees this as a great opportunity, and they want to be part of it. We also have corporate facilities in the area. We took over the 2nd District Firehouse. That's where we do some of our manufacturing of our threat representative systems. So we're next door to the firehouse. We have our offices also on the campus at Paul Hall Center, where we have our maritime vessel, the St. George. We operate that also in and out of the Paul Hall Center into the range, 4006 and 8 range, for test and evaluation events, as well as Navy training events. So we're out there. You've probably seen our boat, the St. George, go in and out. We're out there maybe once or twice every month on a good month. Let's see here. As far as maritime aviation activities, We would like to interest the industry partners that are doing the surface vessels, the unmanned surface vessels, and subsurface testing so that we can incorporate that technology into this local area as well, and have our maintenance and training facilities as part of the campus innovation center concept. We've looked at other aspects, and Maryland is unlike pretty much every other state here in that we're one of the few states that doesn't have a place where a seaplane can land and refuel. One of our ideas is to have Maryland's first private use commercial seaplane facility. This isn't something that's immediate, and it's not really a big impact, scary thing where seaplanes are going to be landing over your docks. I know that was one of the concerns. We envision this more as a scary thing where seaplanes are going to be landing over your docks. I know that was one of the concerns. We envision this more as a site where we could interest the community to come here for an event, essentially a seaplane fly-in, and it would probably be 3 years from now, not tomorrow, not in the near future, but ideas for use cases of the site. Next, investment timeline. Year one, we're really working right now on the plan for the demolition and the restoration of the existing infrastructure, the runway restoration, renovation, and site improvements. Year two, we're going to look at building new OAG corporate facilities, an unmanned tech center, UAS design and testing facilities, and work those into our workforce program, and including a new hangar that would be something that the FAA, MAA would be helping us with as we reopen the airport as a private airport facility. Year three, we would like for our goal or our vision for the World War II heritage and seaplane infrastructure to be developed, and in years 4 and 5 to expand the manufacturing buildings on site to include scale production for UAS systems. Next slide. Pier, and that is another portion of the terminal piece. Phase 0, where we are right now, they're going to be removing the oil pipeline all the way from the point where there's the gate in the parking lot, all the way back to the oil terminal. They're going to take all of the pipeline out of the ground. They're going to remove all of the tanks down to the foundation, and then the EPA is going to come in and ensure that all the soil has been addressed as well. We don't really have the future use determined for the pier. It could support academic and unmanned surface and subsurface testing, has a lot of potential. Structurally, it's unique, and we are a maritime company, so it kind of makes sense that we would have staging of some kind there. Potential extension and creation for overflow parking is something that I know would really help the community here, and we have area and land where we could potentially open that up almost immediately so that events could be here with more than 29 parking places, and that we could help the community in that regard. So as far as the immediate work that you're going to see, they're going to remove all of the apparatus that has anything to do with oil pipeline, oil transfer, cranes that were used, derricks out on the end of the pier. All of that is going, and what we will be left with is the concrete structure and other use cases that we're going to continue to work on over the next few years. So noise and traffic concerns. We do plan to be a good neighbor. We continue to designate and avoid those noise sensitive areas that we were mentioning. It's not new. We've been operating UAS systems, as I mentioned. These aircraft flights will originate on the campus or on the 300-acre parcel. They're far enough away from you, you may see them, but really, depending on the way the wind is blowing, you're probably not going to hear them. These aircraft have rather small engines. The decibel output is similar to maybe a weed whacker or leaf blower. So if you can hear a weed whacker 300 feet away, it might just be kind of in the background. But these aircraft are probably going to be much farther away than 300 feet from your property. So that's why I say you might see them if you looked over there, but you probably won't hear them, or you might hear them and look over and it would be a little gray aircraft in a turn. Our planned routes will avoid overflight of Piney Point Beach. That would be true for manned as well and unmanned aviation activities. Daylight ops during business hours is what we do. That's our business across the St. George Creek at the SIU campus right now. Next, property values and quality of life. I know that the concerns that we've heard and read about are fear of property value decline and increased activity in a quiet retirement community. As far as OAG is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, the oil terminal and airfield, they predate a lot of the current construction here. Its removal of the oil pipeline, I think, is going to alleviate a huge eyesore. I'm really looking forward to returning it to its natural state, its natural beauty. The increase in R&D technology-based economic activity, I believe, will enhance property value significantly over an oil terminal industrial site. I can't guarantee that, obviously, but my personal feeling is that when you wake up in the morning and you look out your back window and you don't see that rusting field of oil tanks and that pipeline, that it's probably going to improve life drastically. Next slide. Environmental and ground contamination. This is something, again, that is on the environmental side of this. We're working with the partners that I mentioned before, and we're working on a plan that involves the state of Maryland improving and the EPA approving all of the work that's being done. The environmental cleanup will cost millions of dollars. The impact on the wetland and the creek is all being written about online. We are sure that they're going to address all of those aspects in accordance with the EPA officials that are working with them. Cleanup comes first. Tanks, legacy lines, over the water remnants are being removed or closed under permits. The CDC and EAG are leading that phase of the operation. And what we'll be left with is a significant improvement from the historical petroleum use to a lower risk and better stewarded waterfront. Next. Traffic and infrastructure. We've read about the concerns about increased traffic on Lighthouse Road. Trucks passing within 20 feet from homes, unsafe for pedestrians, pets, and kids. So our shipping and receiving will be direct to the industrial site off of 249. We'll use Lighthouse Road as a right-of-way access to the property at the end of the road, but we understand it's a residential community. We get that, and our plans will take that into consideration. It's not suitable for us to be driving large trucks, deliveries, and essentially doing transportation through your neighborhood. That's kind of an obvious thing for us, and probably good that I'm able to say that so you understand that we understand that as well. It's beautiful. It's just not effective and suitable for transitioning industrial vehicles down it. So we're aware of that. Next slide. Transparency and public input. Well, we're here actually to dispel that. We're not going to be the type of company that is closed doors or closed-minded to hearing from you. We're not doing anything behind anyone's back, and obviously we're looking at this as being the first of several meetings with other neighborhoods as well. So by the time we're probably looking at the end of December, we will have met with multiple neighborhoods, and we will have multiple opportunities for outreach. These live stream sessions are all going online, YouTube, so that it's all documented and online on our site. Please subscribe, because that's how we are able to put those on online. We got 51 subscribers today, and that unlocked the ability to do that. So the more, the merrier. OAG, this location is already zoned industrial. We purchased the property. We've had several meetings with county members, executives, the MAA as well. We'll keep listening and adjusting where we can and keep the residents informed. It's really what we want to do. It's how we set the stage for success and the good relationships that we want to maintain. Next. What about local jobs? Will this bring in outside workers? Is this going to create a strain on housing, schools, and utilities? Those are all great questions. We expect our growth to be fueled by local talent. We are in a great area with the research corridor around Pax River, with Webster Field, with Dahlgren. We have the goal to create local talent to fuel the development, especially within the NAS Pax River pipeline and local academic and county initiatives that exist over at 2 Whiskey 6. Perfect balance, perfect opportunity for us to plug into those existing talent pools. Next slide. Historical context and zoning. Residents concerned, it was never an airport. It's not zoned for this use. The property has been industrial for decades, and as I'm finding out, not everybody knows this, but it was a World War II era airfield, and it was a private airport until the mid-1990s. We're using an existing industrial site. We're not opening a new greenfield. Reopening elements of the airport is being done through the MAA and FAA pathways and in coordination with Pax River and the county. All those things are going to be moving forward and take time, but that's kind of our goal. And the reason for that isn't necessarily to help facilitate the use of unmanned systems, because we can fly unmanned systems there. It's to plug into the national airspace, which means that we will be safer, that pilots in the national airspace will understand what's going on and know not to come through the area. And a big foot stomper is we will be able to, as a private airport, control the amount of traffic to deconflict it from the unmanned systems. And that's really the problem I mentioned in the very beginning, that the universities are having, that the local companies are having. Flying unmanned systems at an airport like 2 Whiskey 6, St. Mary's County Airport, is difficult because general aviation is based on the premise of see and avoid. And when you have a system introduced to a see and avoid structure, half of that system is not essentially looking out and avoiding the other. Air pilots or pilots of aircraft that come into 2 Whiskey 6 do so essentially unscheduled. Having the private airport here will allow us to meter the traffic and to work with the Navy to keep our unmanned systems and the manned aircraft from coming into the same airspace. So it's a huge safety benefit that the airport is here, and that the private use would be controlled by one entity. And that is essentially what OAG's role will be on the operational side at the site, making sure that those scheduled arrivals and departures are deconflicted from manned aviation, deconflicted from military assets as we transition from our takeoff and landing into the Pax River Range to conduct our test and evaluation. Did I get everything on the last line?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So in conclusion, hey, finally, I don't know how we're doing on time, but the Piney Point Terminal redevelopment is a transformative project. We hope that it blends not only the historic aspects and the preservation of the historic aspects of the area, but has that next gen innovation that is going to be sustainable and create opportunities for St. Mary's County. It will position us, I think, as a mid-Atlantic hub, maybe even larger than that, maybe a global hub, because it is truly a unique opportunity, a unique site with those capabilities all overlap. And if we make it a hub for both aviation, maritime, and unmanned land-based systems, the community at large will have a site where all of those activities and the subject matter expertise can share ideas in one location. So closing message, Offshore Aviation Group is proud to call St. Mary's County our home. We share your concerns about peace, safety, and natural beauty of Piney Point because we live here too. We're your neighbors. I know I keep saying that online. Like, hey, I'm your neighbor, but we really mean that. The project is about restoring the neglected property, creating jobs, and building an environmentally responsible future for aviation, maritime, and land-based systems in Southern Maryland. And we are happy to have you as our neighbors. This is a dream come true. Hopefully it is for you too. And if it's not, then let's talk about it. Let's figure out the solution set that is required to make it a win-win for the community as well as the industry that we represent. That may be it.
That's it.
Thank you very much. And how are we doing on time?
6:36.
36.
6:36. We have an hour slot. So we're going to move into the question and answer. And I'd like, is there any water? Thank you. Again, this is Joe, Paul, and Robert. If you do have questions, raise your hand. We'll call on you. Please state who you are so we get to know you. And if you're from the neighborhood, which neighborhood, etc. And we'll start over here, sir.
I'm Fred Farmer. I live off the street here.
Sir.
Right. I have a gaggle of shits, but first of all, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you, but not really all of you. So I have a gaggle of questions, but first of all, I want to say thank you for coming out and making the presentation. We really appreciate it. I think you've answered a lot of our basic concerns. My first question is, I think the major concerns here have to do with the environmental impacts of what's going on. And I hear you.
Yeah.
That's kind of farmed out to your agent, environment analytics. Could you facilitate this kind of meeting with them so we can hear what's going on? Do you have that sort of contact?
That sort of poll, we can request it.
Right.
They're going through the permitting process with Maryland, EPA, St. Mary's County, all of those other things. So a lot of their documents and that process is public. So there's the ability to have comments and reach out to them directly. And Eric, I don't know if you know anything more about those sorts of
I know nothing more.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a quick one. We have some friends that actually work on Webster Field, and one of the questions that came up was that Webster Field wasn't exactly in favor of this because of the conflicting airspace requirements and all that. But you say that you have had either MOA or LOA or MOU with Webster Field as well. Is that correct?
It is correct. And actually, I'm kind of surprised. Everyone has their own right to their own opinion. And probably, you pull 10 people at Webster Field, thank you so much. You'd find someone that isn't in favor of it. But we've actually had that existing. And it's ironic that UX24 actually uses our site for their own unmanned systems flights. So they use our vessel, and our airspace is actually in the in-flight pilot guide and is part of the Navy process. So we get our events through central scheduling the same way UX24 gets their events. We have the lowest priority because we're not military, but all of our events are scheduled in accordance with their processes. They train us as far as the course rules go. They certify us from the standpoint of the operators and the aircraft. We go through all of the same frequency analysis and approval process that they do, we have a longer standing agreement than some of the people at Webster Field. So you might pull somebody that's brand new and they don't know about it, but we've been fine there within that that letter of authorization and cooperative sense with Webster Field for quite some time.
It's easier to run to fear and uncertainty and doubt in these situations.
Well,
Yeah.
and we appreciate those questions because that may help us clear up those sorts of concerns.
Yeah, I have a couple other questions, but I'll ask those privately.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's well done. Thank you.
All right, I hope I can project a bit here. So, my questions are mostly environmental, and I have a site plan of the demolition. It was a county site plan that came about 2 years ago. The site plan called for the demolition of all tanks. The problem is, there is in each tank, almost every tank, 11 million gallons of residue. Now, to remove 11 million gallons of residue out of one tank, you take an infinite number of tractor trailer loads running up 249, and also the demolition equipment, which has already been pre-positioned on the runway. The sound from that and the opening of the tanks with 11 million gallons of residue is going to create a huge problem. Odor-wise, noise-wise, etc. It's going to take at least 2 years to demolish those tanks. And I don't know how you're going to remove 11 million gallons of residue out of each tank in 2.5 years, first of all, but it's going to create a huge noise, annoyance, and environmental problem, just the demolition. Some of those tanks are covered with asbestos because they contain hot asphalt. So that's another issue. And I know that the demolition equipment and Atlantic Demolition, which is the company that's pre-positioned their equipment on your runway, is very qualified to do the demolition. When do you expect to start demolition?
So let me go back and address some of the misstatements in your, because you said something that could have been true maybe 5 years ago, but the remediation and the removal of all of the oil in the tanks has been done, except for, I think there are a couple of, maybe three or four tanks. So there is not 1 million or 11 million gallons of anything remaining in those tanks. We've walked in those tanks. It could have been true back when you were reading it. I'm not saying that's not true, but it has been addressed already. And the demolition is supposed to take 18 months. And the permits have been requested. So they're working all that separately from what, I can tell you, I've walked through more than one of the tanks and they've been cleaned and approved and that's all been done through the EPA. They were steam cleaned. They, the largest tanks, the 550,000 barrel tanks, they're all empty. They've been cleaned. All that residue's been removed already. So that's the current status. Removing it has already been done. I'm not saying that there isn't one or two tanks that still has an asphalt floor that needs to be removed, but that's part of the ongoing effort to clean up and take care of all of that. But they've gotten all of those clean with the pressure removal and remediation of that. And I know that because we've walked through the tanks. They're all inspected already and approved by the EPA.
Okay, one more thing. I live on the end of St. George Island, 2 miles from Webster Field. And I know when they're starting to fly drones because of their propane cannons, they have to scare the birds away. But those propane cannons sound like ordnance being exploded from 2 miles away. How are you going to not dispose of the birds, but how are you going to keep the birds away from UAVs?
We've been operating here for 10 years and we haven't hit a bird. So I don't I don't think
we don't use propane cannons.
Yeah, we don't have a bash model or a need for it. I suppose if it becomes an issue or a concern, we'll look at bird models and migratory forecasts models the way the military does. It's not an unmanned systems thing for the cannons. Those are protecting the manned aircraft, ingestion into the jet engines of the F-18s, ingestion in a turbine engine on the helicopter. So the unmanned systems, they don't get the same priority actually as the manned aviation. They're protecting their pilots, and that's why those cannons are going off. There are unmanned systems there, though, so you are correct.
Yeah, I have unmanned systems over my house almost daily, and they're not quiet. I mean, they look like, unmuffled lawnmowers going overhead. They're not just electric ones, they're still internal combustion engines, and that the reserves are using them on weekends and to learn how to operate unmanned systems. But it's still, they're not quiet by any means, because they're right over our heads a lot. Anyway, that's.
Thank you for your questions. Yeah, appreciate it.
You've said numerous times that you've been here for 10 years. Where have you been for 10 years? We heard about you 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, our presence here in the area has largely been at the Paul Hall Center campus. We have a 205-foot offshore supply vessel and an office space there. In addition to that, on the opposite side of St. George's Creek, the SIU has a firefighting school at Joseph Sacco. Firefighting school is on a reserve where we've been operating. It's the cattle farm across from there. So our ring has been centered on a small outpost building there on the farm.
Okay.
So, Tim Mertz from Technic Road. Question back to the technology. Who bears the environmental liability?
The EAG group. Yeah, so they cannot transfer the property by the state until all of those aspects of remediation are covered. So really at the point of liability, it's still EAG until all of those items are removed. Any sort of future pollution that we might do, and we don't really operate that kind of operation or manufacturing, that would be on us.
My name is Lynn Westbrook from St. George Island. I have another question about environmental responsibility, mainly with an eye toward ultimate responsibility for assuring that the environmental regulations have been met. What is the relationship of your organization with the CDC or Enviro Group, who ultimately is responsible?
Well, that was a similar question.
Similar question, but
Yeah.
the ultimate responsibility.
Yeah.
If you don't meet, if the regulations aren't met or there's a problem, a complaint, who ultimately is responsible for fixing it?
Good question. Okay.
Yeah. So there, I guess there's two different aspects of that. One is the remediation effort. So they will have primary responsibility. If they go under or something like that would happen, I imagine that we would have some sort of carryover. So
Yeah, you would have the carryover.
we
You're the owners, right? And they're like a contractor to you?
no, they are the sellers, and it's a condition of the sale.
So if that falls through, then your sale doesn't go. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can't get into the specifics of that, but it would get complicated. So
You're talking about the runway over there, and it's a public runway since until the mid 1990s. I haven't seen an airplane land over there since let's see, 1965. So
It was a private airport, not a public. Well, it was public for a year or two, but it was a military airfield, and then the Stewart Petroleum Company operated it. It was on the VFR sectionals as a private airport.
I don't know what VFR is.
That's the Visual Flight Rules FAA pilot handbook, essentially the charts that pilots use.
And do you know the last time a plane actually landed there?
I was told, I have a picture of a Cessna 172 that dates from about 1990 something.
And it was an emergency landing, wasn't
I don't know I wasn't there. I don't know.
it? No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How many people in here remember a plane landing over there? Me. You do? Yeah. Better know. I'm talking about 1990, the mid 90s.
In the late 80s.
Really? Well, that's interesting because I live right across from there and I've never seen.
Well, excuse me, the operative question now is, what's the volume of traffic that you anticipate going forward? It doesn't matter what happened in the 90s.
On the private use airport side of things, I really can't pin it down, but because the unmanned activities don't require as many manned aviation sorties, I'm imagining maybe conservatively 5, maybe a month. Maybe, Paul, your aviation?
No more than that.
I would say no more than 5 takeoffs and landings on average.
Of man.
Of man. Yeah, and
Will the universities and all your partners will be allowed their landing there and everything?
so on the private airport, we would control who would be able to come and go to the airport, and the unmanned activity would be primarily the activity that's in play. And on the unmanned side, we do our functional testing prior to delivery. We probably average right now as a company 20 events a month.
And those events being small, 15-minute, 20-minute type events.
And what's typical size of this aircraft? Can we anticipate it's going to land there? How many people would that carry?
On the manned aviation side, these are general aviation airplanes, so single engine, 2 passenger, probably airplanes. Twin engine general aviation airplanes are typically 3,000 pounds and less.
Not BWI.
Not commercial jetliners or. It's 4,200 feet, which, we have a company airplane, which is capable of taking off in 100 feet. And it can take off in the width of that runway. It's typical that we would operate that. And it is a twin engine airplane, but it's called an air cam. It's like an ultralight on steroids. It was built as a camera airplane for National Geographic, and we used it.
80 miles an hour.
It can't go more than 65 miles an hour. It's pretty cool, actually. It's this close to being a witch's broom in terms of what it's like.
It sure does get pretty views.
Yeah.
So just kind of refresh some of the conversation from earlier. So there's to be no night flights. It's day only, right?
We're not going to say no, but we don't fly at night. And that would require lights. That would require a lot of things that we would do.
And then also, do you envision in the future the bigger UAVs from Pax River coming over and using this runway, or it would mainly stay your smaller?
Yeah, it's suitable for the Group 1, 2, and 3. The commercial enterprise is building the smaller UAV systems. So the the military grade drones, like those that are at Pax River and those that are at Webster Field, would remain at Pax River and Webster Field. So you wouldn't see Triton coming in. You wouldn't see the Webster Field activity. There are many Fire Scouts and RQ 21. Those programs of record all have to stay on the military facility. I saw this in right. Oh,
My name's James Baker, and I was just, you had mentioned earlier you guys are going to open up Point 3. What is that exactly?
That's a great question. So the creek and the right of way for that oil pipeline is what I mean is that they're going to, when they do the remediation of that pipeline, they're going to remove it. They're going to remove all the stanchions that go into the water all the way down to the floor. And when I say that, I know that you can still transit through the creek. So it's not like the creek is closed, but to open the creek for the boaters that would have larger center consoles that can't make it underneath there is what I envision when I say we're opening the creek. So removing that eyesore and opening it up for different types of vessels that you could put at your dock than a John boat or a Boston whaler or maybe a center console would go underneath it. It's sir, yes sir.
Yeah, so piggyback off of that, you're talking about a seaplane base. Would you not have to channelize the?
You wouldn't necessarily have to. What we envision, so the Potomac River is where seaplanes can land and take off. Smaller seaplanes could operate inside the creek, but they would only require a couple hundred feet of space. So the seaplane base would really be nothing more than like a boat dock that a seaplane could come up to and receive services.
The entrance to the creek is pretty shallow.
Yeah,
pretty winding.
Yeah. Again,
That's why I was wondering.
So
That was in the works.
I would imagine and again, it's on our slide for 3 years from now. Between now and then, we would have to look at it. If the MAA evaluates it, they're going to look at the water depth. They're going to look at the all aspects of whether or not the creek has enough room for it, and whether or not the seaplanes would go to a dock or be able to come up out of the water onto the land. There'd be a big.
Big help.
Big help.
I have another question. So when you're at full capacity, what you envision with all the satellite facilities that you picture, how many people do you estimate would be traveling to the site?
Is the question how many people will be traveling from outside to the site, or?
How much traffic is it going to generate?
So I will use what we currently do. When we do military training events, they'll typically bring in 15 people for a week-long, 2-week-long event. And for the site, to support manufacturing, I'm imagining that it's probably going to be each individual company would probably have 3 to 5 visitors a week, maybe a day. I don't know. It's a hypothetical, but I don't see a tremendous influx of visitors or transit to the site.
The 90 people you referred to, the high paid 90, are they all going to be working there, or?
They would be working. They would be working there.
That's sort of 90 plus.
How many do you have now? What's the delta?
So the Delta right now in the total company, we have 85 employees. We would be working with other companies as well, bringing their involvement in. So it's not just OAG, but it would be others as well. And 90 is kind of an estimate for the manufacturing jobs that we would build.
And that wouldn't be a day one or even, year one kind of amount. That might be short term, say first 2 or 3 years. So we would have to build to that particular capability. Go ahead, sir.
Sir.
Yeah, Lighthouse Commons. So we're talking about for drone technologies and military training. We're seeing a lot of drones, advanced drone technology going towards fiber optic tether communication and control. Is this something you envision to be conducted here, where we're going to be stringing thousands of meters of potential fiber optic cable among the environment here, or is this only going to be radio line of sight type of operations?
I think Paul, you can talk.
Yeah, so I think with the tethered stuff, maybe that's a possibility. It would be, but I think that would be part of our good neighbor part of it. That all of that would be cleaned up after it's done, as well.
And that would stay on our site, right? And then we clean it afterwards. I don't think this would be.
It would be
something-
yeah. The shorter tests. It wouldn't be miles of fiber laying out across the road or anything across people's houses.
Yeah, and again, for our UAS testing, we're testing to make sure that these systems actually operate. They go up and down. That that they're working like they're supposed to be working. We're not doing hour type trips around the neighborhood. This is just basic flight testing of it, not some sort of comprehensive FAA certification log for a particular system. Yeah.
Maybe one more question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should conclude the formal portion of the meeting, and then we can continue to answer questions and meet you as well. But as far as the folks that might be watching online, our 51 subscribers, thank you. And to all of you, thank you for the questions. We'll be able to stay here for probably another.
Well, actually, we shouldn't say
We
that.
shouldn't say that.
We should be
7:30.
I'd say
7:30, 30 minutes.
We'll be packing up and answering questions for the next half hour. How about that?
Yeah. One last